The AFC is loaded with powerhouses and underdogs ready to shock the league, but who will truly rise in 2025? Today, we're ranking all AFC teams based on where we believe they'll finish this NFL season and why. From teams chasing a Super Bowl to squads looking to rebuild, we'll break down who has the edge, who's falling behind, and what makes each team dangerous or doomed. Stay locked in, because this analysis will change how you see the AFC in 2025. 16. Cleveland Browns, bottom of the table. Predicted to finish last on the table and also in the AFC North, primarily due to its glaring quarterback uncertainty. The Browns have no clear QB plan, relying on a fifth-round rookie Shedeur Sanders and a likely committee approach, which is a major red flag for consistent offensive production in a league where QB play defines the outcome. Despite Myles Garrett's return and shrewd, low-cost free agency moves, the inability to stabilize the most critical position outweighs these defensive strengths. Jerry Jeudy's late-season breakout, prorated to 117,637ths, is promising, but it heavily depended on high volume without competing alpha receivers. Deontay Johnson adds depth, but Njoku regresses and drops remain an issue across the group. The running back rotation lacks a true, consistent game-changer post-Chubb, with Ford's efficiency inflated by 2 long runs and Judkins untested at NFL speed. The offensive line and scheme may support the backs, but explosive, consistent drives are unlikely without reliable QB play. Ultimately, Cleveland has an intriguing WR room and defensive pieces, but lacks the most vital ingredient, a quarterback to capitalize on those weapons. This limitation, paired with an uncertain RB room, will drag them toward the bottom in 2025. 15. Indianapolis Colts, bottom of the table. The Colts are expected to finish near the bottom of the table in 2025, and it is clear why. As per projections, the Colts might just secure their spot below Jaguars in their AFC South campaign. While they spent to upgrade the secondary and added first-round pick Tyler Warren to improve a last-ranked tight end group, the entire offensive ceiling remains tied to Anthony Richardson's scattershot arm. Daniel Jones offers competition, but we know his ceiling is low, and Richardson has shown minimal growth as a passer. This restricts an underrated trio of receivers in Michael Pittman Jr., Josh Downs, and Alec Pierce, who have solid advanced metrics, but suffer under one of the NFL's most inaccurate QB rooms. Jonathan Taylor can still dominate when healthy, as shown by his explosive final month, but his durability remains in question. The lack of reliable, consistent quarterback play will keep Indy stuck near the bottom despite talent at skill positions. 14. Tennessee Titans, bottom 20s. The Titans entered 2025 with #1 pick Cam Ward as their franchise pivot, but the surrounding lineup feels patchwork, explaining why they're expected to finish just below the Jets in the late 20s. The Tennessee Titans are also expected to end up in the table bottom for the AFC South race. Tennessee spent heavily on their offensive line in free agency, and with legendary assistant Bill Callahan in the building. There's hope the run game improves, but Tony Pollard and Tyjae Spears have not shown consistent explosiveness, limiting the offense's floor and ceiling. The receiver room is aged and transitional. Tyler Lockett and Calvin Ridley are past their peak years, with Ridley struggling with drops, while Van Jefferson offers blocking but limited production. Rookie Ellis Ayomanor has upside but will need time. Unlike the Jets, who have a true WR1 in Garrett Wilson and a mobile QB in Justin Fields, the Titans lack a clear explosive identity, putting them behind an AFC progression. 13. New York Jets, bottom 20s. Our next team on the list is from the AFC East. The New York Jets are projected to finish in the bottom 20s, just below the Raiders, for the 2025 NFL season. Despite the new regime adding Justin Fields on a 2-year deal, Fields has yet to prove he can consistently move the ball through the air, limiting the offense's potential. Garrett Wilson remains the lone elite piece, but like Terry McLaurin in Washington, he can only carry so much without reliable quarterback play. Breece Hall's underwhelming 2024, paired with his fumble issues, raises concerns, and while Braylon Allen brings size and power, the Jets' run game lacks the explosiveness needed to tilt games. The receiving corps remains thin, with Lazard regressing and Malachi Corley barely contributing. In contrast, the Raiders have Geno Smith, a steadier veteran presence, and dynamic playmakers like Brock Bowers, who showed elite potential, and Ashton Jeanty offering fresh offensive upside. Vegas also fields a deeper, more versatile offensive scheme and has a clearer identity, while the Jets' offense is limited by Fields' inconsistencies and a shallow receiver group. Ultimately, the Raiders' balanced approach and playmaker core give them the edge over the Jets heading into 2025 season. 12. Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders should improve in 2025 after trading for Geno Smith to stabilize quarterback play while adding Ashton Jeanty with the No. 6 pick to lead the backfield. The Raiders are predicted to finish at the bottom in the AFC West competition. Jeanty's college tape is electric, but history shows rookie backs often require a season to adjust, so expecting 1,000 yards would be optimistic but fair. Brock Bowers is the real X factor, delivering one of the best rookie seasons for a tight end ever with 1,194 yards and 112 catches, giving Vegas a dynamic weapon for Smith. However, the wide receiver depth remains thin, with Jacoby Myers steady in the slot but lacking impactful play, relying heavily on rookies Jack Beck and Donte Thornton to contribute early. The Miami Dolphins, by comparison, retain higher-end top talent with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, despite recent declines, and Devon Achane remains a proven big play option when healthy. Miami's structure, even with regression, still offers a more explosive ceiling, and while the Raiders should be more stable offensively, they lack Miami's game-breaking speed and receiving depth. This edge in established high-end talent and explosiveness allows the Dolphins to narrowly rank above the Raiders in expected 2025 NFL standings, reflecting the small but clear separation between these two evolving rosters. 11. Miami Dolphins bottom 20s. Predicted to end up in the bottom 20s, we've the Dolphins from the AFC East. Miami Dolphins enter 2025 with a middle-of-the-pack roster, especially after losing Jalen Ramsey, which weakened their corner depth. They did bring back Minkah Fitzpatrick in that trade, adding top-end defensive talent, but their draft approach did not aggressively address the secondary or add game-changing offensive weapons. While Tua Tagovailoa remains a capable distributor, Miami's offensive explosiveness is in decline. Tyreek Hill's production nearly halved last season, and Jalen Waddle's YPC dropped significantly, raising concerns about aging and durability across their playmakers. The running game also regressed sharply, with big plays drying up as Mostert left and Achane struggled to replicate 2023's burst. Draft additions focused on depth rather than immediate impact stars, and bringing in Darren Waller, who hasn't had a significant healthy season since 2020, does not solve explosiveness issues. Coach Mike McDaniel's system can maximize playmakers when conditions are perfect, but last season revealed the system's dependency on health and elite speed, which may be declining. Compared to the Patriots, Miami's lack of physical offensive identity and declining speed edge could see them finishing below New England, who, under Vrabel, added physicality in both trenches and a reliable top receiver option in Diggs, positioning the Patriots to narrowly top Miami in 2025. 10. New England Patriots top 20s. Expected to finish out in the top 20s, we've another giant from the AFC East. The Patriots' 2025 season outlook points to a lower 20s finish, just below the Jaguars, and the reasons are clear when comparing roster quality and offensive upside. While Mike Vrabel aggressively rebuilt the defense with Milton Williams, Carlton Davis, and Harold Landry, and bolstered the O-line with Morgan Moses and Garrett Bradbury, the offense still lacks dependable explosiveness. Stephon Diggs would instantly be WR1, but relying on a 31-year-old coming off an ACL tear carries major risk, and there is no real plan B behind him. The supporting cast with Mac Hollins, Pop Douglas, and raw rookie Kyle Williams doesn't inspire confidence, while last year's second-rounder Jalen Polk had a disastrous debut, averaging just 0.4 yards per route run. Meanwhile, the Jaguars edge out New England because they possess a clear offensive upside with Trevor Lawrence and rising stars Brian Thomas Jr. and Travis Hunter, who could become a dynamic receiving duo. The Jags have a young, high-ceiling offense under Liam Cohen, while New England must hope rookie Tre'Veyon Henderson outpaces Ramondre Stevenson's inefficiency and fumbling issues to elevate a conservative attack. Simply put, Jacksonville's offensive playmakers and quarterback ceiling provide what the Patriots currently lack, making the Jags more likely to top them in 2025. 9. Jacksonville Jaguars, top 20s. The Jaguars could land in the lower 20s for 2025 because they're still a team of ifs, despite having high-ceiling talent. They're also projected to finish second in the AFC South race. Travis Hunter, their bold number 2 pick, brings electric versatility, but we don't know if Jacksonville will unleash him fully on offense or split him between roles. Brian Thomas Jr. has already proven he can torch defenses, giving the Jags a potential elite duo if Hunter plays primarily at receiver. Still, Trevor Lawrence's inconsistent play remains the biggest question mark. He needs to elevate in Liam Cohen's new system for this offense to reach top-tier status. The mid-tier free agent moves improved depth, but lack game changers. Unless Lawrence clicks and Hunter becomes a WR star quickly, the Jaguars' improvements keep them around 20, 24, not pushing them into AFC elite just yet. 8. Pittsburgh Steelers, top 20. The Steelers will likely finish around the top 20 this NFL season, reflecting cautious improvement rather than a huge leap. However, if they have the momentum on their side, Pittsburgh might just end up third in the AFC North, chasing Ravens and Bengals. What's great news for the Steelers fans is DK Metcalf is more consistent than George Pickens, but his 2020 season looks like an outlier, so fans should expect a steady 0-0-0 yard year, not a monster breakout. The Steelers' wideout depth is shaky, with Roman Wilson and Robert Woods unlikely to provide big numbers, pushing Metcalf to a high-volume role by necessity. Jonnu Smith and Pat Freiermuth should form a solid tight end duo, which will help the offense keep drives alive. Jaylen Warren replacing Najee Harris could boost efficiency in the run game, and rookie Caleb Johnson might add needed physicality. With Aaron Rodgers at QB and Jalen Ramsey boosting the secondary, they've clearly improved, but remain a middle-tier AFC team. 7. Cincinnati Bengals, top 15. The Bengals will likely finish in the top 15 in the league table, and very likely end up chasing Baltimore to the second spot in the AFC North competiton, balancing big play upside with depth concerns. Jamar Chase, after leading the league in routes and yards per route run, remains a game changer who can tilt any matchup. T. Higgins, while elite as a WR2, battles hamstring issues, missing 10 games in 2 seasons. So questions loom over his availability for the 2025 season. Running back Chase Brown impressed, replacing Mixon and posting numbers close to Bijan Robinson's, providing a dynamic element. The Bengals' defense added Shamar Stewart, but remains inconsistent, limiting top-tier aspirations. Mike Gesicki contributed, but hasn't maximized his red zone size. Depth beyond the stars is thin, with Andre Iosivas' volume masking inefficiency. Cincinnati's elite top end can push them into playoff contention, but limited roster depth likely caps them as a middle-tier contender this season. 6. Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos are likely to finish around the top 15 in the NFL table for the 2025 season, blending Sean Payton's system with steady but not elite firepower. Bo Nix revitalized Cortland Sutton, who topped 2.0 yards per route run, giving Denver a reliable WR1 threat, while Marvin Mims Jr. adds electricity on gadget plays. However, Troy Franklin's struggles to sync with Nix limit the ceiling for explosive plays downfield. New addition J.K. Dobbins adds valuable backfield experience, but his injury history remains a concern. Talented veterans like Evan Engram, Talanoa Hufanga, and Dre Greenlaw boost the roster, though Greenlaw is already battling injuries, highlighting the fragility of this core. The offensive line is serviceable, allowing Payton's structure to function, but without dominant push or protection. Payton's coaching elevates players individually, but this offense lacks consistent elite playmakers to dominate top-tier defenses weekly. In a competitive AFC, the Broncos should remain a respectable, scrappy team capable of pushing playoff contenders, but without overwhelming talent, a top 15 league finish is realistic, not exceeding it unless Nix and the receiving core take a dramatic leap forward. 5. Houston Texans. The Texans surged in 2023 but slipped last season, positioning them to push for a top 10 NFL finish in 2025 if their off-season changes click. More importantly, we expect them to top the AFC South and win their title for the 9th time. Losing Stephon Diggs in free agency and Tank Dell to injury hurt their explosiveness, but Nico Collins remains a high-level WR1, capable of chunk plays that can flip games. Christian Kirk adds reliable depth if healthy, while rookies Jaden Higgins and Jalen Noel could grow into valuable midseason contributors, expanding Houston's passing options. Joe Mixon, despite rough 2024 numbers, flashed brilliance even in a broken scheme and should thrive behind a revamped offensive line featuring Cam Robinson, Laken Tomlinson, Trent Brown, and rookie Ariante Ursary. This unit can unlock Houston's ground game and support play-action opportunities. With C.J. Stroud's calm, efficient leadership under center and a roster that balances youth with proven talent, the Texans have the pieces to consistently compete, control games, and finish in the NFL's top 10. If their young receivers develop and the line holds up, Houston has the explosiveness and structure needed to push even higher in a competitive. 4. Los Angeles Chargers. The Chargers are shaping up to be a mid-table AFC team this season, hovering around the 3rd to 7th seed range in the NFL. due to a combination of cautious optimism around Harbaugh's restructuring and lingering gaps in their offensive weapons. They lost Joey Bosa and other key players in free agency, but the Chargers made clear moves to improve the offensive line with Andre James and Mekhi Becton, which should help their bruising new running back duo of Najee Harris and rookie Omarion Hampton find lanes behind a sturdier front. However, Harris has struggled with efficiency, and while Hampton adds potential, rookie RBs can take time to adjust. Their wide receiver core still heavily relies on Ladd McConkey staying healthy after his explosive 149-yard season, but outside support is uncertain. Mike Williams is back but may struggle post-ACL recovery, and rookie Trey Harris will need time to adjust to Greg Roman's play-action heavy system. The tight end room remains a question mark, with Tyler Conklin an upgrade but far from a true field stretcher, making fifth-rounder Oronde Gadsden II a potential X-factor if he develops quickly. If the offensive line gels and McConkey remains healthy, this team can stay competitive, but there are still too many unproven weapons and scheme transitions for the Chargers to crack the NFL's top tier in 2025. 3. Kansas City Chiefs. Despite Patrick Mahomes still being elite, the Chiefs are likely to finish around the top 10 overall in the NFL for the 2025 season, competing for a high playoff seed but appearing slightly vulnerable compared to their peak years. The Chiefs are also projected to win their AFC South title one more time this season as the lineup remains unmatched for the AFC South competition. Travis Kelce's production decline is real, hitting career lows, signaling that Father Time might finally be catching up, which limits the offense's ceiling. Isaiah Pacheco should bounce back from his fractured fibula, but the Chiefs' running back room still lacks week-to-week consistency. The wide receiver group offers hope, with Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy showing strong flashes, but durability remains a concern, making it hard to project a full season of top-tier production. The offensive line is in transition with Joe Thuney gone and new faces like Jaylon Moore and Josh Simmons needing to step up quickly to protect Mahomes. If the offensive line gels fast and the receivers stay healthy, the Chiefs could push for a top 5 finish across the NFL, but without consistent explosive production, they may hover in the top 10, short of fully dominating as in past seasons. Still, Mahomes' presence and leadership ensure the Chiefs remain serious contenders in a competitive NFC landscape. 2. Buffalo Bills top 5. Hailing from the AFC East, Buffalo Bills has a real path to crack a rewarding spot in the top 5 of the NFL 2025 if things align. Josh Allen remains one of the league's most dynamic quarterbacks, capable of single-handedly carrying the offense with his arm and legs. The Bills have a solid running game with James Cook, whose big playability and improved touchdown production add balance and keep defenses honest. Khalil Shakir's continued development, paired with potential jumps from Dalton Kincaid and Keon Coleman, could round out a pass-catching group that is reliable, if not elite. Adding Joey Bosa to the defensive front significantly boosts the pass rush, allowing the Bills to close games while Allen puts them ahead. The defensive unit is sturdy enough to keep them in games, and with Allen's explosiveness, the Bills have the formula to steal games late and push into the AFC's top tier. However, the Ravens currently have an edge over Buffalo. Baltimore pairs a healthy Lamar Jackson with a truly explosive supporting cast, including Derrick Henry, Zay Flowers, and Mark Andrews, who all produce at elite efficiency levels. Their offense has multiple ways to dominate games, whether it is through Henry's power running, Lamar's mobility, or deep shots to Flowers. The Ravens' overall offensive ceiling is higher than Buffalo's, which still leans heavily on Josh Allen to create magic. Baltimore's stability on the offensive line and defensive consistency also give them a slight edge, positioning them as stronger contenders for the NFL's top seed compared to the Bills' wildcard ceiling. 1. Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore has every reason to end up in the top 5 of the NFL in 2025 and very likely retain their spot as the AFC North champion, this time winning a 9th title. Derrick Henry's 921-yard explosion at nearly 32 proves he still has superstar power, with 9 runs of 30-plus yards reminding defenses he's a game changer. Zay Flowers is hyper-efficient at 2.5 yards per route run, nearly matching Jamar Chase. And while his deep ball consistency and drops need refining, he remains a top weapon for Lamar Jackson. Mark Andrews remains an elite tight end with 11 touchdowns in 12 games while leading tight ends in open score, ensuring Lamar always has a go-to option. Rashod Bateman's breakout with 756 yards and 9 touchdowns shows he's finally delivering on his potential, and DeAndre Hopkins adds proven depth as a situational threat. The Ravens also kept Ronnie Stanley, securing left tackle stability, and added Malachi Starks, reinforcing defensive flexibility. Most importantly, with Lamar Jackson healthy, Baltimore combines an explosive run game with a deep, efficient receiving group and a steady offensive line, giving them a complete unit capable of overpowering weaker defenses while matching elite teams. Their consistency, star power, and balanced attack should allow them to compete for the AFC's top seed, making a top 5 finish well within reach. That wraps up our expert AFC rankings for the 2025 NFL season. Who do you think will surprise everyone, and who will fall short? Let us know your AFC predictions in the comments, and don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoyed this breakdown. Subscribe for more NFL analysis, rankings, and season predictions so you never miss a beat as we get closer to kick. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next video.